Hello world, welcome to the Fonz's office. Today I am presenting to you as myself. There's no super fan here, there's no Fonz, there's just me, myself. And I'm here with a super special guest. He is my CBD sponsor, a man who came into my life at a very important time when I was experiencing seizures and I was going through a very difficult time mentally. I was having numerous mental challenges. I had had an experience with CBD before that worked positively, and I went off of CBD for a while. And then when I started having some problems, I reached out to my man right there, CBD man, Alex Leckie. CBD man, welcome to the Fonz's office, brother. How are you doing today, my man?
Thank you, Jeff. Fonz. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, which is a lot to say from where I was about 14 months ago when we introduced ourselves. We had known each other online and whatnot, but I mean when I reached out to you and you immediately responded in a positive way and said that you wanted to help me out. Let's introduce the fans out there a little bit to who you are, CBD Man. Can you tell us what CBD Man stands for?
Yes. So CBD Man, it's a brand that is meant to stick out, and it's an acronym for Canadian Botanical Daily Management. I want to be a fully Canadian company that works with other Canadian companies. So I have put myself in a position where I've trademarked my brand and incorporated my company to be able to work with licensed producers around Canada and other suppliers of a variety of healthy alternatives. My main vision before COVID was to have a big spice and dressing company and be able to implement cannabis into that. But
Beautiful.
COVID kind of put a roadblock on that. And then through my connections over the last three years or so, I've been able to connect with top suppliers, LPs, certified organic suppliers from all around Canada, and to really keep the money inside of Canada and to help people.
Beautiful.
I don't know if I can expand on that.
No,
right now.
You've done a good job with that. With the name being CBD Man, it's Canadian Botanical Daily Management. Yes. CBD Management. That's very clever on your behalf with creating the name, and it's a very straightforward, easy name to remember for branding wise, and for all the people out there that do use CBD oil and CBD products, and for those who are wanting to try it. It's a very easy brand name to recognize. I love your logo as well. It's nice and clean and crisp and very identifiable for the cannabis, the coloring scheme and everything. You've done a wonderful job with branding and marketing yourself. And yeah, you have a website as well.
Yes.
www.cbd-management.com. What can people find on your website?
So they can find lab tested full spectrum CBD oil and potencies of 500 milligram and 1,000 milligram. They can also find a broad spectrum 150 milligram pet oil that comes from distillate, and gummies that are a little bit higher on the THC to kind of focus more on instant pain relief and sleep, but it's different with everyone. So you kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge on how much to take and what to take, what's good for you, and what reacts differently with you. So that's kind of where I come in. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I can show the data around safety and not so safe, unbiased information that you're going to find on stuff like PubMed from doctors like Dr. Sanjay Gupta or the scientist out of Israel, Raphael McCallum.
Yeah, McCallum.
I believe his last name.
I think so.
Yeah, and very knowledgeable people, and they are able to be an important voice in the industry where there's still a lot of stigma and people following the decades of reefer madness the government has forced on us. So I believe in, and sorry the loud traffic in the background, I'm outside.
That's right.
I believe in 2020 we made a lot of progress in research. There's a lot more confirming language, not the typical this may do that, this may do this. It's a straightforward, like, we found that something like CBD has decreased the inflammation, and this is how it happened, kind of thing. So that's great. I've kind of gone off track. Well, where was I going with that again?
That's all right. Well, you were mentioning about how you were not a doctor, but how you have ties to people that are in the medical field,
yes,
and how their input is helping to guide you with the decisions you make in regards to your company.
Absolutely. And that was one thing I wanted to do, because CBD Man's a brand that stands out. I wanted to stand out as a person as well, be able to be that person that gives the proper information that's provided by well-respected doctors. About a year ago, this was actually right before I got married, I decided to take the certification course through well-respected Physician CBD Council based out of Orange County in the US.
Beautiful.
And it was an 83 video course instructed by Dr. Dun Tring. Goes by Iggy Aget on Facebook.
Yeah, you guys should have got good information. We'll put his link in the information here for you.
Absolutely. And through this certification course, when I passed it, I got a certificate of completion and also access to their whole database of information and clinical data around cannabis, our endocannabinoid system, CBD, even the different formulas, creams, and how they all can be applied to offer us some relief in our life. Of course, it's not going to be for everyone, but knowledge is power, and it's important to know.
Absolutely.
And not like live in fear where you're not going to give something to someone that could really help. And that was the step I really wanted to take, to offer that extra value to people who choose to watch me and buy from me. The next step I wanted to take, because I had a kind of a rough past with companies and not being able to have a concrete stance where I'm able to permanently offer something. So I decided to learn from my mistakes and take matters into my own hand, where I trademarked my brand and put it under a class of cannabis oil for food.
Right.
And I trademarked my name as well to be under a class of spices and dressings.
Excellent.
And then I incorporated my business in Canada to be both federally and provincial.
That's
so
beautiful.
This really put me in a position to work with the top licensed producers around Canada and certified organic places to offer the best. Like I want.
Right.
So there's certain aspects where you need to talk to your family doctor because they know your health history, and I know that you and doctors haven't had the best past, and it's really hard to find that doctor that will be okay for something cannabis related.
Yes.
And but I do see a lot more doctors waking up and offering it. So it's good. That's a very positive step, because someone like myself can't play doctor. I can't say this is going to help this is going to help that. I can just present the facts that I know through the courses I've taken and the hours and hours of educating myself, and then just really take that extra step and making sure you know the pros and cons, because there are pros and cons. CBD is virtually harmless, but when you're adding other pharmaceuticals or something it can interact with, here's a tip. If you know your doctor isn't going to be accepting of CBD or THC, ask your pharmacist or even your doctor about grapefruits. Grapefruit, do you suggest me or can I have grapefruit while taking this medication? If they say no, then CBD is probably not the best, or cannabis is probably not the best option, because it kind of, the CBD and the grapefruit have similar compounds in how they interact.
Very interesting.
And they direct towards the blood pressure in your body. So yeah, like that's another important kind of, hey, should I be looking into this? Should I be spending money on this? Of course, there's the pro to CBD and pharmaceuticals as well. You can space it out in a manner where you can potentially lower your serving of pharmaceuticals, where you can just take the CBD. I'm not saying that this is a potential for everyone, but it has been shown in a few of my customers that have. Exactly. And I really take that as a fact. Like they can put out studies that say maybe, but I really take the real life experiences as fact. And
that's an excellent point that you make, and I can speak on personal experience with that. Just over a year ago, I mentioned in our intro that I was suffering from some mental health challenges. I was going through seizures, as well as panic attacks, anxiety, which has been something that I've had throughout my life. But what I referred to as situational depression, situational anxiety. But what I didn't understand was that the stress that was putting my body under during those times was triggering that disconnect in my endocannabinoid system, and I wasn't getting that system balance that helped me to maintain that actual balance in my life. So firsthand experience, I was on 3 different pharmaceutical medications. I was on an antipsychotic, an antidepressant, and a sleep aid. I was on 3 different medications. Within 3 months or so of taking those medications, I started to balance out a bit. My panic attacks had started to ease off, but my quality of life was still down the drain, man. I was very quick to react. I was very reactive. I was getting to become passive aggressive again. I didn't want to deal with things. Pardon me. And during that time, I went back to a time, I was like, what's different from me now than where I was a year ago when I had already been facing these same challenges that I was facing again, but my life was doing much better. And the difference and the differentiating factor was that I was no longer incorporating CBD into my daily medications. So that's where you came in, where I reached out to Alex here, CBD man, and he put, well, I won't say he put everything aside, but he involved me. He allowed me to come in, and he started providing me with some CBD oil that instantly, from the very first day that I got back onto CBD oil, my quality of life started to improve instantaneously. It was slow, and it was I can't even say baby steps because they were much larger than that. But it did start off the first couple days of just kind of the fuzziness was starting to go away. I didn't have the constant ringing in my ears. I didn't have that all the time. And I was starting to come back out of my shell. Within approximately 2 weeks of being on a regular regime of taking CBD oil, I started to wean myself. This is with my doctor's permission, to wean myself off of the medications that they were prescribing me. I now have an amazing doctor who is 100% on board with incorporating CBD products into my medication.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so that was the first little bit. Within 4 to 6 weeks, I was down to less than half of the medication, the pharmaceutical medications. And within 8 weeks to 10 weeks, I had completely weaned myself off of the pharmaceutical medications. That was an antipsychotic, an antidepressant, and a sleep aid. All three of those medications I no longer take, and the only one medication that I do take is CBD oil. And now awesome. I know that in your position, that is not something that you can say is the one cure that works. But I can say in my own experience, I just laid it out exactly how things went for me. At the time when I contacted you, it was shortly after I went to the psych ward. I had psychoanalysis done on myself. Well, not that I did on myself, the doctors did, of course. And now with having the CBD oil and the CBD Man products incorporated into my daily intake, I am now completely off of those medications. I've been now over 6 months off of all of those medications. I've just passed 1 year seizure free again. And to me, I put all of that thanks towards you and to the care that you put into your patients. That's what I'd like to refer to myself as. You put that quality care into the individual, and that same care and consideration goes into you choosing the products that you use, that you supply for individuals like myself. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, my man, because you have been a world of difference to me as well as to my family. And that's only expanded out exponentially, right? Like, during that time, you never saw me on camera. Now I'm at a point where I'm not only on camera, I'm now doing interviews with other people, and I'm getting your guys' perspectives out to the world, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the people that are viewing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, there is no way that I could see this kind of stuff happening prior to hooking up with you and having CBD Man and CBD Man's products back in my regime. So,
well, Jeff, you're a good man, and I really believe that good people, eventually good things will happen to them in their life, and it's all about connections. I like to keep my circle small.
Me too.
And you know, there's very few people I can really trust, especially now. And you're one of them. And I really do appreciate your promoting my brand and just having that mutual respect where we can both help each other grow on. So I do have a little story of my health as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear this, and I'm sure they will as well.
Yeah, no, I never jumped into the CBD cannabis industry as a salesperson right away. I was a customer, and I became a believer, and I wanted to be a part of this movement where this plant and the compounds in it were being prohibited to take. Meanwhile, it's helping people with seizures all around the world. We don't need a study to tell us this. We don't need to synthesize these natural components to figure out if it helps with certain ailments. It's just wild. So I wanted to, as I became a believer of it, I really wanted to fight against that. And in the past, I have created petitions that have got enough signatures to actually catch the eye of people in government to respond. Nothing really came of it, but the next year later, they kind of legalized cannabis in their own way. We kind of have to work around all the things that they implement in there, but so I dealt with sickness as far as I can remember. All through elementary school, I always had the running noses, chest infections, throat infections. I dealt with that. I missed a lot of school all through elementary school and high school. When I was 19, I caught pneumonia. That lasted around 3 months. I only had about 10 hours of sleep in that 3 month span because I spent most of my nights fighting to breathe and coughing out blood and having dry coughs, coughing fits, and it just wasn't pleasant. It got to a point where I was laying in my bed and looking up at my ceiling, hallucinating because just of the lack of sleep, thinking I'm about to take my last breath. This is it. Doctors were, back then, I don't know, it was I guess, mid-90s. Crazy to say the mid-90s are back then.
Yeah.
Doctors didn't really have anything to treat pneumonia. They told me, this is very serious, go home and take care of yourself, it's life-threatening. Drink lots of fluids, but I couldn't drink fluid because my throat just wouldn't allow it. My lungs were filling up with water. I just couldn't, the pneumonia was literally slowly killing me. But I like to say there is something looking over me, because I did end up pulling through that, but I had a lifetime of negative side effects from that experience. I inherited insomnia. My anxiety was terrible because of the lack of sleep. My sickness didn't improve because my immune system was very weak. So any chance of getting sick, I got it. And I missed a lot of school. I missed a lot of work. I worked in a stressful kitchen environment where we were doing 30 grand in sales in one day, just food sales in one day. And I was the person being the call guy, pulling out the paper slips from the printer and lining them all up, delegating to 7 stations. I know if anyone's a cook and is watching this, they'll know exactly the pressure and stress that puts someone under, and the whole team trying to get the food out to the customers in less than an hour or a half hour or 20 minutes. And some nights it got pretty stressful, so anxiety really weighed in. I do have, and then 2017 is where I finally just discovered a full spectrum CBD oil. I know in Canada we had the CBD isolates, the 1-to-1 CBD THC, and kind of different extractions and bud content and stuff like that, shatter, and so we had all those options, but not really like a full spectrum CBD oil with hemp seed oil. And I found that through a company in the US called HempWorks, and I was a customer first. I tried their stuff, and I found within the first 4 days of taking it twice daily, like consistently, I started noticing my sleep pattern went from 1 to 2 hours of sleep for like the last, I don't know, 25 years or so.
Right.
1 to 2 hours of sleep a night to a straight through 4 hours of sleep. And I was like, that's amazing. I woke up and I felt great. 4 hours is still not a lot, but compared to 1 to 2 hours, it was awesome. And it just progressed every time I took it. I followed this schedule where I started out low and worked my way up throughout the month. Yeah. And by the end of the month, I just totally noticed my anxiety under control. I was getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, still am while I can. And yeah, anxiety totally under control. My immune system, I can actually feel my immune system fighting off stuff. I haven't been extremely sick in over 3 years since adding full spectrum CBD oil into my life. And I can't just, give that all the credit, because eventually I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I really looked at what I was putting in my body. I was eating fast food daily. I just didn't make the connection. I was eating like greasy foods, drinking pot, drinking alcohol and pop like on a daily basis. I was doing all this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta change this. So I've been basically a good 2 years free of anything like fast food compared to McDonald's or anything like that. And I haven't drank much pop. I still drink like alcohol, and, like not a lot, but I do drink the odd wine or or vodka cider or something like that. Because we're all human. We can't be fully clean. We're gonna have our bad habits or habits that aren't necessarily the greatest for us. But I did notice once I took out those aspects and added the full spectrum CBD and healthier foods, my health just did a 360-degree turn. And I know like not everyone will have that exact experience, but that's what really worked for me, and that's what really drove me to be that person. Sorry, my dog's having a little coughing fit. To be that person, to spread the word, to fight against like the negative stuff that overpowers the positive stuff, and really be the face of a quality source in Canada, a source that you can trust, and to trust to bring you proper, accurate information.
Which is exactly what we find when we go to your website, to your Facebook pages. That's exactly what we get. We get reliable, accurate information that is backed by the physician's CBD council, right? So, with the knowledge that you've got with your certificate from them is how I mean to word that.
Yeah, totally. I also have a podcast that I would like to add more content.
Nice.
But I've just recently started that, and that will be in the blog section under Body Systems. It'll be a little link that says CBD Man Podcast. There's 2 podcasts. The first one was kind of a practice go, but I decided to keep it because through all the errors, I decided to keep it because a lot of important information around the endocannabinoid system, I was still able to get that out. The second one, I talked about CBD, the brain, anxiety, and depression, how CBD, through preclinical studies done on mice, what showed that CBD has the ability to increase the receptivity in certain regions of your brain that can activate serotonin and anandamide. Anandamide is a natural endocannabinoid that our brain produces and our body produces, and it's referred to as the bliss molecule because when it's active and working as it should, that's where we experience happiness. That's where we're smiling and we're not focused on the anxiety that's hurting us. Well, not hurting us, but like
affecting us.
Our minds focus on negativity.
Right.
Yeah. And so I talk about that, and I did much better on that. No mess ups really, and really got the information out there, and kind of gives you an understanding of certain aspects of our brain and how it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can find a lot of that in my blog section.
That's again for those that are watching. That's at www.cbd-management.com. You go check out the website. You check out the blogs that are on there, the products that are on there, and man, it's a lot of quality, accurate information. And check out those podcasts that CBD Man has done. I'm sure that you will enjoy them as much as I have.
Awesome, thank you, Jeff.
Well, Alex, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day for making some time for us here out in the world that are interested in CBD products and what CBD can do for us. You started off as a customer. You found some success with your own health, with your own quality of life by taking CBD products that encouraged you to learn more about CBD, as well as learning more about cannabis itself as a medication. You went out, you got yourself certified by the Physician CBD Council, and now you're providing a quality product, a top quality product, backed by the proper education and the knowledge. And then you take all that, you formulate it all together, and you present to the world CBD Man, who not only provides a top quality product, but he himself is a top quality individual. And man, like I had mentioned, you've been a world of difference to myself and to my family with helping me out, and I owe you like a world of gratitude, man, because where I am now is just the beginning of where I'm going to be. And I've got a new attitude that has been brewing for quite a while, and that not only to just forge through the challenges that face us, but to do so in a sense that I'm going to be absolutely unstoppable. And you have helped me out with this new attitude that I've had over the last couple of years, and you've been a wonderful individual to me, and I greatly appreciate everything that you've done for me with supplying CBD oil for me, with supplying accurate information, and as well as supplying me with a friend that is absolutely genuine to the core, my man. And I really appreciate you.
The feeling's mutual, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I watch it daily. It's very entertaining, and your view to get fighters out there is just awesome. It gives everyone a platform to get their names out and get fights going and all that. I truly enjoy watching your show and the three of you that you bring to it, and is truly entertaining, and yeah, the feeling's mutual. You've helped me progress in my visions and where I want to go as well. Your loyalty and support in my brand has opened it up to a lot of parts of the country. I don't know if you know that, but
I do know that there are people across Canada that do tell me that they appreciate what you do, and that the ones that have tried your products have all given me 2 thumbs up. And yeah, so I am aware that there are a few people that have come to your brand as a result of myself, but I had no idea that it was to that extent.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, and we're all in this together, and I'll say it again. I have no problem working with everyone in the industry. I have little interest in competing with anyone, and I found that being a huge barrier throughout my experiences is the competition in a capitalism country. You come out with a product, someone more established comes out with a product maybe not as good as yours, but the price beats yours. Yeah. And sometimes when the knowledge isn't out there, the price will win.
Or a saying out there that you get what you pay for, and that does bear true in this situation. You're like I had mentioned, you're a top quality product at a mid-range price. So you're actually getting a bigger bang for your buck by spending a little bit more to get the quality product than you would be by saving those extra dollars and then essentially having to buy 2 or 3 times as much at that lower price to get the same effect that you would from a top quality product.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think, I do want to mention to you before we go, because the wife just got home, so I should pay attention. I will be creating another blog soon, possibly today, just to kind of highlight my course.
Okay. So
with that, I'll offer a link within that blog that can offer a course to the general public, which will be a lower price than actually taking the certificate course. With the certificate course, we kind of have to set up an interview with Dr. Trin or anyone in the Physician CBD Council. Nice. They're kind of busy right now with being in the front line in COVID in the U.S. right now. But the general or the course for the general public is around 140, I believe, U.S.
Okay.
So I'll kind of just write out the blog with my experience, what I learned, and yeah, like just the information that it provides. It's a very good tool to have, a tool to go back on, because it's all video lessons done by Dr. Trin, right? Where you can go back anytime since you taken the course, and kind of go back and relearn it. And
excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
So it's a really cool opportunity.
Perfect. I look forward to reading through that blog when you do have that published. That will be awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again, Alex. I really appreciate you being here. Our time has now expired. We're going to have to sign out. And good time. And your wife just got home. My kid is just coming into the driveway right now. So our timing is perfect. Everybody, thank you.
Say hi.
I will indeed. Absolutely, I will. Everybody out there watching, thank you very much for watching. I am here. I am presented myself. And this here is CBD Man. That's him right up there. CBD-management.com. You go check out the website, you go check out the products, and you check out his blogs. You're going to be super happy that you did. CBD Man is the man for you to contact for all your CBD needs. I am myself. He is CBD Man Alex Leckie, and we are signing out from the Fonz's office.
Nobody helped him through except a sweet little dame who walked with him then and out too.